is a letter to my daughter someday, who will someday be in existence if God wills it. But nonetheless, this is a letter to my future daughter. Come, 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 my daughter, be still in your storm. Oh, the heavens open the day you were born, so be calm. Come, come, my daughter, be still in your storm. Come, my daughter, be still in your storm, though troubles have faced you since the day you were born. Trouble shall pass and time shall pass too. Just remember through it all how your mother loves you. This world will expect much of you. Expect more of yourself. Succumb not to their pressures, but set standards for yourself. Know your Creator and give thanks through it all. Know that in this life we rise and we fall. Fret not when you fall, but consider lessons learned. If you learn not from your lessons, you are likely to be burned. Some lessons may be bitter and some may be sweet. Know that achieving good things in life is no easy feat. Know that if you say you can't, you can't, but if you say you can, you will. Sometimes half the battle is learning to be still. Some may speak evil of you, and others may betray you. But in all things, let negativity not get the best of you. Calm, my daughter, be still in your storm. Know that the very heavens open the day you were born. Baby, life will get hard. But on days when you feel like giving up, remember that your name is written in the stars. And when you wear your heart on your sleeve, they might think you're naive. But you possess more strength than the human eye can see. May you learn when to love. May you learn when to trust. May you learn when to fight, only when you must. May you learn when to speak, learn when to be silent. May you learn that conflicts can be solved without using violence. May you learn to fight for peace, if only within yourself. May you always give thanks for your blessings and your health. Learn to protect your heart without being bitter, because there's more good in this world than evil, all things considered. Never lose sight of your purpose or give up on your goals, because you were born for greatness that only heaven knows. We may not know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. And there is fear and uncertainty, sure, but baby, trust. So stand ever tall, even when you feel like crying, because the only time we fail in life is when we stop trying. You will grow to learn more than I'll ever know, and I can only pray to live long enough for you to teach me. So be calm, 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 my daughter, be still in your storm. Thank you. This song is about how we're meant to, be there for each other, and we all struggle, but there's no need for us to struggle on your own. And I'm not saying you need to go and tell your business to everyone, but what I'm saying is remember that we're part of one body, and if God meant for us to struggle on our own, we would have been put here on our own, and that wasn't the case. We were put here together, and we're here to be here for each other. Anyways, I'll stop talking. The song will speak for itself. Walk with me, dear brother. I'll lend you my heart and I'll lend you my ears, so your soul may find comfort in another who cries the same tears. 'Cause we're made of the same flesh and blood, and together we're in this flood of joy and pain, of joy and pain. So embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, and let your heart breathe. Walk with me, dear sister. I know that you're tired and your heart's on fire. Your tears and your laughs are intertwined, but you can't laugh until you let yourself cry. If you know the song by now, please sing with me. 'Cause we're made of the same flesh and blood, and together we're in this flood of joy and pain, joy and pain. So embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, and let your heart breathe. Please be patient with me, 'cause I need time to trust, time to heal. 'Cause we're made of the same flesh and blood, and together we're in this flood of joy and pain, joy and pain. So embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, embrace your humanity, and let your heart breathe, breathe. Thank you. Hello? Okay. So this next piece I actually wrote today, and I bounced it off Marianne and Velma. Where are you? In the house. So if this poem is horrible, blame them. I just like to give a quick story of a parable from the Bible that inspired this poem. There's a story in the Bible about the prodigal son. So there's a son who goes to his father when his father's alive and says, Father, I want my part of your will, right? So that's basically a son saying to his father, you're dead to me. And the father, without any reluctance or without any hesitation, gives his portion, that son's portion of his will, to his son. Doesn't try and stop him. His son is free to go. So the son goes, blows all his money on whatever else, drinking, whatever his son was doing. Not the point. He was away from his father's house. So the son, after blowing all his money, realizes, listen, I'm broke. I'm not in too good of a situation, so let me go to my father's house. So he goes to his father's house. And when he's going back home, his father's standing outside waiting for his son to come home. That part of the story always gets me. And not only was the father just waiting for his son to come home, that family had, good standing in that community. His father was also protecting his son from the scrutiny of the villagers. And from the judgment of the villagers, the other people in the village who would have seen him come home before his father. Yeah, and I always had a really hard time understanding God's love. And I then, grew to learn to love my father, my physical father, my spiritual fathers, and just, if my father, who is human, can love me so much, I can only fathom how much my Father in heaven loves me. So this is my poem. Though my heart is uneasy and my spirit be weary, I know he guides me still. Though trials are heavy and my cup be empty, I know my portion he'll fill. For his grace be endless, his mercies plenty, he will heal this heart of mine. No matter the outcome of this journey of mine, I am of him forever divine. Blessed daughter, sacred of queens, my struggles most surely mean that I am forever evolving as the turning of the tides. He is pruning this heart of mine. Someday the reason for your struggle will make sense. You'll then look back, smile, and thank God for strength. You'll then look back, smile, and thank God for strength. You'll look back and smile at memories of a hasteful youth where you wanted not to be told what to do. You'll smile at memories that taught you to let patience be your virtue. Someday, you'll understand that prayers unanswered were prayers deferred, or prayers for causes possibly less preferred. Someday, you'll have learned that heartache has taught you strength. Denial has taught you honor. Pride has taught you humility. Someday you'll realize that you could not have found your way had you not been lost. To everything there is a time and a season, but for days when the pain seems to bear no reason, know that he shall ease your pain. He shall use your sorrow for gain. He shall use your struggles for glory, for he refines us to make us holy. You see, I thought I was grown. While I may get lost, I always find my way home. See, the world taught me quick, but my Father, he loved me. Through hopelessness, shame, his love still covered me. I asked for my portion, and that he did give. And though it killed him to watch me walk away, he never did stop me. Never have I known a love like his. Months had gone by, and he didn't beg me to stay, but I knew it broke his heart to watch me go astray. Living life as though I had no purpose, I grew tired of simply living on the surface. Be anxious for nothing, I heard him whisper. As I dwelt on his words, his voice became crisper. I heard a calling in the distance, a subtle tug at my heart. I knew it didn't matter to him how long we'd been apart. So I sat with God, it was long overdue. He looked at me, smiled, and said, "Child, I love you. I know every hair on your head. I know every step that you take. But I wish you'd be more careful with the choices that you make." You see, I thought I was grown. While I may get lost, I always find my way home. See, the world taught me quick, but my Father, he loved me. Through hopelessness, shame, his love still covered me. Someday, the reason for your struggle will make sense. You'll then look back, smile, and thank God for strength.
And it is a church made of many nations, as we heard tonight. More than 40 nationalities make up our congregation, and that number grows steadily. Among churches, not just in Canada, but in the United States, SMSV is among the fastest growing. By God's grace and glory, the church has grown from about 13, half of which were Father Bishoy's family, to 1,000 members today. And what if I told you that happened in 4 years? This kind of growth is pretty special. Now, I have nothing to do with it. And Father Bishoy won't take credit for it either. It comes because God has placed love in the hearts of the people who attend. And this is something that God wants. He wants love to go out into the community. This is what he's asking for from each and every one of us. If you're new here tonight, we welcome you. If you're still at a point in your faith journey where you're not really sure where God fits into your life, we welcome you. It doesn't matter where you are in your faith journey, you're welcomed and you're loved. And if we can ever answer any questions at all, we invite you to come and speak to us, any one of us here at St. Maurice and St. Verena. I reflect often on what we were made for, and that is the theme of Outreach Nights. Father Anthony has spoken in his first talk, and he'll continue to speak about that theme. It's a pressing question. You can do all kinds of searches on Google, and all of these searches point to the yearning for people and their unfulfillment. I recently made a search on Google for peace, another one for life balance. I found that there were billions of search results on that topic. It is amazing how unfulfilled people have become. And yet, I see a pattern, because people, though they search here or they search there for relationships, or they search for money, or they search for career, they continually are let down. You know, the blessing of God is that He won't let you down. If you're at a point in your life where you're seeking God, we invite you to seek further. He placed a desire in your heart because He's the Creator. He made it so that nothing can satisfy that desire except Him. If you're tired of trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that and being let down day in and day out, time and time again, we invite you to come and try what God offers: everlasting joy, fellowship, and total fulfillment. This is the same kind of joy that you were born with as a little boy or a little girl. This kind of joy is the joy I'm talking about. When you came in fresh into this world, you had this joy. And no one could take it away. And it was easy to make you happy. And that happiness was a long-term happiness called joy, not a short-term happiness. Now tonight we invite you to pay close attention to the next talk that Father Anthony is about to prepare and present for us.
I'm just going to share a bit about my life and how I got to where I am today. So just bear with me, because I'm extremely, extremely nervous right now. So I'll just start at the beginning, because it's the best place to start. So I grew up in a very Christian home. The only problem with that home was both my parents were new converts, and they were very dysfunctional people, so they became very controlling. Unfortunately, they did the best with what they knew, and they thought this was best for me, but it turned out that I just got angry, and then further on in my life, this is how it negatively affected me. So with my mom and my dad being so controlling, making decisions about who I was allowed to hang around with, where I was allowed to go, what kind of entertainments I could have, I felt like I didn't have any of my own decisions. So then I graduated high school and moved away. My parents live in Prince Edward Island. I moved 1,800 kilometers away to a little city outside of here called Kitchener, Ontario, where I was born. And I went to college. Well, of course, feeling like I had been kind of cloistered and like I hadn't been able to make my own decisions, I started making all kinds of my own decisions, and of course, being kind of stupid and making a lot of bad decisions. Kind of went on my own little new rebellion. But with my mom teaching me her Christian ways and teaching me that God is what you're seeking, I kept going to church. Never quite understood what entailed having a relationship with God. I always thought I understood, but I never quite did. So I kept going to church, but I still, even all through my life, never quite felt like I fit in very well. And the church I grew up in was just an example of some of the worst kinds of Christians. They were judgmental and two-faced, and so that's what I thought the face of Christianity was. It was just a very poisonous community, and I was hurt pretty deep by it. So then I moved to Toronto a couple years later to go back to school. And I started looking for a church, and I was having all this difficulty and all this difficulty and all this difficulty. And my personal life started falling apart because of the decisions I was making. And I kept thinking that it was life handing me this sour pot of milk, but really it was my decisions, and I didn't realize that at the time. So through all this, I started having health issues and stuff like that, which thank God has we've figured out, and I'm doing better now. And that got me down, and just life handing me what I felt was a bad deal. So then I started working at this new job, and I met this girl that I was working with who was an Egyptian girl. And of course, not knowing anything about religion or anything like that, I just assumed she was Muslim. But then I found out she was Christian, and she's like, hey, we've got this great multicultural church. Why don't you come with me and I'll introduce you? So she started bringing me to the Tuesday night crew meetings, which is the young adults meetings. And you know what? From that first day, I fell in love. I really did. From the moment I arrived, I was just inundated with people introducing themselves to me and wanting to get to know me. And they seemed so sincere. I'd never experienced that. I'd been to dozens of churches around the city, and not one single person had introduced themselves to me. And I swear that first day, I met at least 30 people, minimum. And they just, every time I came back, it was just more and more and more. And they remembered me, and they remembered details about me. And I felt loved and accepted and part of something finally. And right before this, I had just been so disillusioned. I'd even thought about converting out of Christianity entirely, but they kind of won me over. And then I met Abuna Pishoy. And he is the first clergyman I have ever been able to talk to, the first clergyman I've ever been able to trust. And he allowed me to talk to him. I could say anything. He was not fizzed at all. And with that, my relationship with God grew. And this past year, it was Christmas Day, Orthodox Christmas, not Catholic Christmas. Christmas Day of 2012, I went to Abuna and I was like, Abuna, I'm getting baptized. He's like, okay, when and where? So this is what was significant for me. I got baptized around 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's the time of day that I was born. I was literally born at 9:59 a.m. and I was baptized at 10 a.m. But you know what? I love it. I really do love it. Life is good now. My family, because they're a very Protestant family, they don't quite get it. And they kind of give me a hard time sometimes, but they're really just happy for me because they've just prayed for me for so many years to finally get back to God and have a relationship with Him. You know what? The changes are amazing. People are noticing physical changes in me, not just emotional changes. People that don't even know God, don't know anything about God, are noticing these things. And I wouldn't change my life for anything. I'm happier. It's just, life is good, guys. I do suggest it.